think Myth done a really good job of balancing that.
Strategy on this one map in this very specific matchup. I played it once 4 months. Like strategy on this one map in this very specific matchup. I played it once 4 months, like 3 months ago.
And we have
3 months ago.
And we have confirmation in. It is gonna be Blue Lagoon. So a very interesting map actually, because this map has a tendency to kind of push your settlement options towards the center, and there usually is a lot of food desirable in that area as well, right?
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. I'm curious to see the God picks. I think I have a suspicion.
We're gonna get some set.
Oh wow.
Oh,
ωραία.
It's a Greek showdown.
It's a Greek showdown.
We've got confirmation in. You talked about the potential for
Και την ώρα δείχνει καλά και Discord βλέπετε από μένα. Οκ, μην ανοίγεις Discord, μην τραβάς resources.
Are going to be seeing Hades versus Zeus, which the crowd is going to be disappointed. They want Norse, but that does mean you might get like a double Norse down the line.
Yeah, we'll see how this pans out. Looks like we have a quick pause. Pans out. Looks like we have a quick pause. Players stretching their hands.
And yeah, I think it's going to be quite interesting with how narrow the angles of approach are through the mid-map on this
Ξαναέπεσε.
particular map. We're going to have to see like how the players leverage that.
Άρα δεν είναι από εμάς, είναι από το service, από το stream. Έλα, ήρθε.
It used to be that Zeus was the aggressor.
Πέφτει, έρχεται. Είναι από το restream, παιδιά.
Has it changed now with the meta? Are we seeing more maybe of a macro game potential out of the two?
Well, centaurs are like essentially a central, right? So you're going to see RecoN go Hermes, right? But it's interesting. I think for a while people probably still do consider Hades to have like just one of the best late games, but it doesn't feel like as oppressive as it used to be. So we'll see if that comes into play here.
We need to make that raccoon look a little bit more aggressive.
It looks so cute.
Get his teeth out.
He's kind of got like a power stance, you know?
They should have done 2 flags, like on print
Το
on
καλό
each
είναι ότι δεν
side,
έχουμε
you flip
χάσει
it
κάτι σε
over, and it's
παιχνίδι.
just like Wolverine mode, right? The claws are out, it's looking like it's ready to attack. Because this guy might look adorable.
Είναι.
Up against the wall, he will beat you down. And wave to the camera, folks. There we go.
Woo!
Oh, that banner blast from the past.
There it is.
We're almost filled up. It's crazy to think how quick this day is going, and we still have another grand finals after Myth, the big one that I know a lot of people traveled from around the world for. A best of 9 grand finals for Age of Empires 2.
Yeah, and it's honestly one of the most iconic matchups in the game right now. Oh my gosh, look at the crowd. They're getting hyped. Whoa!
Don't hit us.
Hello.
I kind of want the drone operator job. He's having a blast.
He's just having fun.
I was like, you know what? Just go between the crenellations. Like, make a course for yourself, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, what a cool career that must be.
Όλα η φάση με τον drone. Κάτι γίνεται εκεί πάντως. Για κάποιο λόγο δεν ξεκινάνε αυτοί.
It's kind of frustrating when you know what I'm talking about. When the game pauses, like, because you get in and maybe someone has to be sorted. It has to be sorted, but in that moment, you just want to go, right? Because like you set in motion what your thought is, and I remember I was talking with the boys from Age of Empires 4 before the grand finals because they played some, but they didn't want to play too much, and I was like, yeah, because you can over prep. That is a thing, right? And it's like in this situation, if you're sitting a long time, you can overthink. You kind of just want to go brain dead for 2 minutes and not really like add additional thoughts into the strategy.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you don't want to overthink it, right? You don't want to overcomplicate the game. As Mista often says, the game is simple, right? You just have to know what to do. And he makes it sound easy, but it isn't. Hello.
Some local football club fans?
Ξεκινάμε, ελπίζουμε να μην έχουμε άλλα προβλήματα, παιδιά, με το stream.
No, you're in Europe, mate. You gotta.
I know, I can't call it that here. I have to be careful, you know.
Do you reckon we get to yoink those little rams?
The little rams on the stage.
The rams
they do look quite cool.
Αλλά προφανώς δεν οφείλονται σε εμάς, πρέπει να είναι στην υπηρεσία.
To lose your cause, time to go crazy. Game number 2 of the grand finals of Age of Mythology Retold. It's a Greek showdown between the Greek and the Brit here. Hades in the hands of Mista and RecoN equipped with the leader, the Pantheon, Zeus.
Yeah, it's interesting here. Immediately casting Sentinels is an interesting choice, right? Sometimes you see players like to save it in case they do go to a second TC, and oftentimes players will hold it just because of the mind game element, right? You don't instantly cast it so that your player doesn't know your strategy, and even if you're going one TC, you just cast it when you need it. So immediately casting here
Αυτό θα θα ενδιαφέρον, γιατί δεν ξέρω πώς μπορεί να κερδίσει ο Άδης. Άλλο είναι ο Θέμης, κάτι έχει σκεφτεί. Εδώ είναι δυνατός ο Δίας γιατί μπορεί να παίξει και ταύρος και να ρεντάρει από δύο πλευρές και να παίζει hidden run, επειδή ο Άδης είναι αργός.
I feel like in mirrors you usually often see them kind of do the dance, the triangle of units more often than when you've got clashes between different pantheons, right? So, with this map spawn, is there anything curious you're seeing? Like, obviously we've got the Sentinels on the starting TC, kind of a curious opening. Usually we see this type of play when it's a 1 TC attack point for Hades. Is this a good map to take that approach?
I really like just the base Mista, right? Like, it is just gorgeous. Like, look at that. He's got a gold with a wood line all the way to the edge here. The temple placement totally blocks that off. That's such a safe location for the economy.
And the back food near the pond, right? So easily wallable. Just drop a house on that east side. I think it would actually actual terrain. Good lord.
Interesting as well. We're actually getting an Athena mirror here. I would have maybe
Μπορείς να κλειστείς ανάμεσα στις λίμνες. Οι λίμνες μπορούν να χρησιμοποιηθούν για να φτιάξουν. Ναι, είναι
σαγολάκι, είναι σαγολάκι.
Ναι, ναι. Like we know it's infantry focused, but is there something specific both sides are looking for?
I mean, restoration is such a solid god power.
Ξέρω είναι ότι εντάξει είναι ανοιχτό map. Δεν μπορείς να τα χρησιμοποιήσεις άμεσα.
I mean, it makes sense as part of the infantry pantheon.
Πιο μετά όμως βοηθάνε.
You are going to get more value when you are stuck more stagnant in the fight than if you could just kite.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the play is. Scouting.
Ωραίο σκάουτ από το Θέμη, προσπαθεί να καταλάβει τι θέλει να κάνει.
The map as we get into this classical age in just a few moments.
Big deal as well this game, right? I honestly feel when you're in a best of 5, game 2 is the most critical because if a person's one up, you don't want to have back up against the wall. It means you have to take every best tool rather out of your kit. You can't hold anything back. So age up begins.
Επίθεση βλέπω από το RecoN κατευθείαν.
Ο RecoN πήγε Αθηνά. Αυτό δεν το περίμενα. Ρε εσύ τι κάνει ο RecoN.
It's a great time overall.
They got nerfed like was it 2 or 3 times?
Δηλαδή δεν πας.
They got nerfed a lot.
Strong boys, but here they go. They're just going to go straight in.
Για ποιο λόγο δεν πας.
The Minotaur not caring.
Γιατί τα Sentinels, αυτά βλέπεις ότι βαράνε, τα κτίρια του είναι πιο δυνατά ή πιο δυνατό στο εξόντε. Στην ουσία είναι τρελός στην άμυνα ο άλλος. Πολύ καλός. Λόλ τον παίζει Μινόταυρος. What the fuck, εκεί. Αυτό δεν περίμενα. Εδώ συνήθως παίζει σκέταυρος, γιατί είναι good και είναι πολύ γρήγορη. Και ο τέτοιος, ο Άντης έχει αργούς έρωες σχετικά. Και αργά με units. Δηλαδή και ο Θέμης περίμενε και τα δεν περίμενε αυτό.
Θα πάει να χτυπήσει μετά με το Μινόταυρο πάνω τους εργάτες.
Εσύ δύσκολα θα βγάλει value, δηλαδή πρέπει να φάει τα Sentinels. Τώρα ο Θέμης άμα θέλει κάνει και wall chip στα towers.
Για να μην μπορεί να τους χτυπήσει κατευθείαν, γύρω-γύρω.
Ναι, δηλαδή. Θέλω, μου φαίνεται περίεργο η φάση. Ο Θέμης τώρα έστειλε...
Ναι.
Έξυπνος ο Θέμης, τον κρατούσε περίπου. Ω, το είδε πάντως. Δεν πειράζει, το μόνο που έχει να κάνει είναι να τον αφήσει εκεί.
Ωραία φίλε.
Έχει το δεύτερο ήρωα έξω ο RecoN.
Vaults of Erebus as well came in there during that for Mista, so that's the unique Hades upgrade that gives you a good trickle of gold, so even further extending this Vil lead, you can see he's up by 1 right now, but it's a bit higher than that.
Το είπε ο RecoN, πρέπει να κάνω πράγματα που δεν με περιμένει ο άλλος.
Αυτοκτονία, δεν είναι. Ο Θέμης είναι διατησία. Δεν είναι της, είναι δεν θυμάμαι πώς λέγεται, αλλά είναι της είπα ζωή.
Yeah, but the damage hasn't really been there yet for RecoN, and he has invested
heavily
into this Minotaur play. We're gonna have to see when eventually he's able to do anything against this defense from Mista, which so far has been impeccable.
Bull Mentors could eventually become a problem. It's just the normies at the moment for Mista and not really in a position to make any sort of quick transition.
Κάνει την κίνηση. Ουσιαστικά ο ένας προσπαθεί να σπάσει λίγο το ρυθμό που μαζεύει οι resources ο άλλος. Αυτό γίνεται.
We always have to remember the restoration will be available to top off these health bars later.
Yeah, but if they're in combat, that health income is cut in half, I believe, which means you got to be very careful.
You just min-max them, right? Like peel them one by one, keep them back low HP, and then top off. It's a bit tricky, I guess, in a mirror like this, because when both players have restoration, it means your opponent has an edge when you finally commit. And this is
on the field. The Minotaurs have to run. Achilles is going to be chasing them down here.
Oh, Bolt
gets bolted though.
He has to do it. Ajax is still annoying on his own though. It feels like
Ajax is
an entire army.
Διαβάστε τη μυθολογία.
Just a tower to assist.
Oh, and the Bills get bounced back off the granary.
Hero's almost dead as well, which would be problematic because it means that the Minotaurs could come in to assist from Mista. So Edge is out with 14 HP left on Jason. We've still got that Bull Minotaur on the north side, and we have a shuffle out actually on the west corner. RecoN has snuck out for some economy. Mista was close by, but I don't think the scout saw this.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what RecoN is actually going to macro towards. It looks like maybe in a bit of wood he could slap down.
Αν βλέπω καλά είναι πάνω στους εργάτες ο Θέμης, αν καταλαβαίνω καλά.
Ο RecoN θα πάει τρίτη εποχή. Ο Θέμης δεν έχει τον γκολ ακόμη. Ναι, βασικά δεν έχει άτομα στο κόμμα το Θέμης, δεν ξέρω τι κάνει τον γκολ. Δεν έχει πολύ food, δεν έχει καθόλου γκολ.
Was the thing when RecoN didn't cast it on the Minotaur in his economy, that would have been like a free just take it out, your Vils don't have to idle, but he waited, and that's because we all knew, well they both knew that it was for Achilles, and so he waited until he had a bit more economy, right? As long as he isn't taking damage, it's okay.
Well, the age of game may change, but the fact that we love clubs does not. Heracles is now in the field, so something as beefy as Ajax basically gives you a bit more die potential, but I wish we had a damage done statistic for that Sentinel.
Really damage if you can Sentinel
here for Mista.
Yeah, and here comes RecoN's age up, so that's what he's been saving up for. We'll see if he gets some here.
Mista, good micro back here.
Ο Θέμης τώρα επιτέλους, ο Θέμης τώρα θα προσπαθήσει να ανέβει.
We talked last game about things like curse and chaos and the ceasefire and how that layering the cake matters. Restoration
Έχουν 12 builds διαφορά.
King when it comes to Greek mirrors.
Oh, Achilles now on the O here.
Θέλει να τα χιλάρει ο RecoN. Καλό αυτό, έξυπνο.
Are those all hurt?
Με το που βγει λογικά θα πάρει τα upgrade για τα heal.
Hold on. Achilles.
Oh, Achilles on the Bills.
So
that's a low HP Bill. Took some damage from the Rhino. And now all of a sudden Mista.
Ουσιαστικά αυτό λένε και αυτοί, ότι τώρα με αυτό που γίνεται μεγαλώνει και ακόμα τη διαφορά στους εργάτες. Και ίσως αυτό το βοηθήσει να καλύψει το gap στο χρόνο που θα μπουν στη δεύτερη εποχή.
Actually pressuring while teching behind this. So this is a brilliant position. He forces the entire army home.
Ο Θέμης, αν σφάσει τον ήρωα και σκοτώσει δύο μηνόταυρους, είναι πολύ... Ναι, δεν είναι ακριβή, δεν είναι. Είναι πιο φθηνό τον ήρωα, θέλω να πω.
It's crazy actually that RecoN takes our first one.
Χαλάσει τη συγκέντρωση τώρα, βλέπεις.
It's pretty damn phenomenal. Just shows you how good the Sentinels are. The army this
big can't really get into the base. Θα έχει τρίτο ήρωα έξω.
Yeah, I think we're getting that attack right now, so that healing is going to be really useful there. Also, looks like he's queued up Sarissa.
Όχι, είναι ερωτικά.
So temple healing. Is there any world in which you kind of try to get more forward temples just for that healing, so you don't have to run all the way home?
Ναι, θα πάει ο Λίν, ο Κλήτος στη βάση του Θέμη. Θα το παίξει hit down.
But I'm sure it'll be a natural evolution of the game eventually. You can see Achilles just getting so much value now that Bolt has been used, and here's that healing coming in. So it acts as like a little mini healing spring now. It used to heal one at a time, but that's one of the updates in Retold. A lot of these minor god techs have been made pretty major in their impact, right? So they're called minor god techs because they belong to a minor god, but they really do heavily influence the game. That Minotaur count has gotten scary high.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to get Mista going for the Toxite, but this is kind of awkward sometimes. You know, I talked to him, I talked to a few players about this. Sometimes Hades, like trying to mass Toxite after going age 3 feels weird, right? It doesn't feel like it hits as hard as if you just done it in age 2.
It can still be really good, but yeah, no, for sure. And Mista on his end, he has Underworld Passage.
Ναι, το
That's one of
είπε
his
ο
favorite god powers.
Κοράκη.
I think it's probably one of the most strategic god powers in the game. You have to use it really well in order to win the game with it, and that's kind of how the god power.
Τα είδα αυτά. Hitdown, αυτό λέω. Σε αντιγράφει ο RecoN.
Feel bad, but we got the big stuns coming out. The Hoplite's gonna have to run here. The Nemean Lion slapping down with the stun, but there's some reinforcements, maybe enough to make Mr. Reconsider, and there you see the army of the
Τώρα θα παιχτεί ο Lane, τώρα θα παιχτεί ο Lane.
Δύσκολο εδώ τώρα, για να δούμε. Έτσι, έκανε και clickback practice, λέει ο Hitdown.
Σίγουρα δεν έκανε με το Hitdown, γιατί ο Hitdown έμαθα ότι κρύβεται στο Mythology.
Τράστο.
Είναι τράστο, θα αναφέρουμε κάποια πράγματα.
Αν καταφέρει και βγάλει αυτή την επίθεση, θα πάρει το παιχνίδι. Restoration, δύσκολα.
Είδε Resto. Θα τα χάσω όλα στη βάση.
Παρ' όλα αυτά, έχει παραπάνω εργάτες ο Θέμης ακόμα. Λιγότερο στρατό, παραπάνω εργάτες.
There's no mass blob that's doing good damage, and it's problematic because you can't blob. You've got Minotaurs to deal with, you've got Chimera to deal with. These units want you to stack your army all together, and I think that's where Mr. is struggling to get a wide enough spread.
Περίμενε ότι θα την πάρει λιγότερη δύναμη ο Θέμης. Αλλά φαίνεται είναι πιο δυνατό από ό,τι υπολογίζει. Το θέμα είναι ότι ο RecoN δεν έχει πάρει στο gold mine πάνω δεξιά. Άμα το δει, μπορεί να θα έχει θέμα Θέμης.
Is it a raid or just a scouting party?
It's a defector. He's like, yeah, you guys are winning. Can we join you? I would love to see RecoN just drop the under passage now. Just like get that quick TP across the map, because you actually have a fantastic staging point that you could hold on to outside of Mr.'s base. But instead, looks like he is just going to fall back, content with the damage he's done.
Yeah, and the army there, you gotta wonder if he needed to deal more though, right? He's still down in Vills.
Λοιπόν, 66-43 εργάτες, αν μπορώ να καταλάβω και που τους έχουν βάλει.
Ω, ο RecoN θα πάει και fast στη Mythic, θα πάει η Ήρα, θα του παίξει... οκ. Σου λέει αυτό δεν κερδίζω έτσι. Ας πω μια Ήρα. Κιά μου βγήκε.
Θες να δούμε Τιτάνες?
Τιτάνα ούτε καν, δεν κάνει. Για το Ήρα πάει ο τέτοιος, ο RecoN. Ρες έχουν μεγάλη διαφορά στα βίλ. Ο Θέμης είδε ότι χτίζει τέτοιο και γι' αυτό πάει μπροστά. Κατάλαβε ότι θέλει να υπάρχει ο άλλος.
Εδώ τώρα η λογική ποια είναι, του χτυπάω στους εργάτες, θα του μειώσει την παραγωγή οικονομίας.
Τώρα ο Θέμης θέλει να παίζει fight, θέλει άμα κάνει το Ήρα να το κάνει αμυντικά, επιθετικά.
Chiron also now a big threat, even to that backline Manticore. If you can scale the Manticores up to about 4 or 5, I think they're a really solid solution to max Toxicity. Just kind of snipe out the clump, right? So at that point, you're less reliant on Minotaurs and more reliant on Chimera that historically at times have looked absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, if you haven't played much Retold here, these Manticores have this special effect where it's essentially like a big mangonel shot. So if you get a group of them, they can all attack at once and just take out huge clumps, especially of these archers.
Πάτησε να βγει, δεν πάτησε. Όχι, έχει πάτησε. Ναι, κοιτούσε σε άλλο το σημείο. Ξεκαγγίσε.
It's tricky as well. Like when you play Toxicity, you can't get on the Manticore, right? Like it's if you had cavalry, you feel content about trying to poke and probe. I love this though. Instead, now we're gonna see Mr. peeling north side with the archers. He's assuming there's been a move up to the goal, but with the walls already in position, we can see that RecoN is playing it a lot more safe.
Yeah, but like he's down in eco.
Μπα τους έκοψε να κατεβάσουν και να βλέπουν τους εργάτες.
Is it gonna be enough?
Ωραία.
Εσύ ανεβαίνει Mythic. Μόνο παίρνεις είναι 2 της όλες είναι
ένα. Έχουν πατήσει και οι δύο, ναι.
It's quite small, I know. For us, these icons are there.
Εντάξει, ο RecoN θέλει να δώσει fight τώρα. Όσο μπορεί, γιατί όσο πάει το παιχνίδι, περισσότερα builds. Είχε πιο δυνατό army,
It's quite blocked. Susceptible there.
Oh, Raw coming out.
But Hera, a lightning storm here could be huge. It's going to come down to how this goes.
Trying to poke away at this, but you will notice on the side we got those Manticore probing. The main, the slows is trying to walk away from the melee. Problematic here. RecoN needs to buy more time. Tech still about 35 seconds away. So I think he's going to have to shift away. Mr. has that defender's advantage. He does have the numbers, and you can't afford to be throwing away these valuable myth units right now as RecoN.
Yeah, you got it backwards first, then I got it backwards second. Yeah, this is Hera coming in. Right? Probably not so much there, but on this main army, maybe even on the gold fields here, this could be a devastating location.
The fortresses, though, as a reaction to that potential is really cool to kind of consolidate his location here. When those lightnings come in, you could try and dive into the keeps to feel protected, but here we go.
There it is, on the main army.
Tries to shift away.
It's here.
It's just taking time. It has to build up. So the snipes are coming out. The Manticore's arrived. He's tagging the entire army. It's not going to be good enough, though.
Κάνει αυτή στη βάση του τέτοιου, αλλά δεν το δείχνουν ακόμη.
And RecoN now in a position to push north side. Earthquake fortresses.
Αυτό πρέπει να το συμβεί.
Farm's in trouble. This could be big. He snuck in with Chiron to get the vision, and he will destroy a lot of this base.
Θυμάται, η Χέρα να είναι πίσω.
Who can remax quicker? Only a 20 bill advantage at the moment. RecoN pushing in onto these double fortresses are going to deal so much damage here.
Δεν το πειράζει, δεν το πειράζει.
Δεν το πήρα ακόμα, φίλε, έχει ακόμα πολύ δρόμο. Άμα καθαρίσει αυτούς εδώ, τότε θα το πάρει. Και προλάβει και να βάσει γρήγορα.
Παίζει με τους ήρωες, δεν μπορεί να τους καθαρίσει. Τελείωσε. GG. Το γέρισε ο Θέμης. Άου ρε Θέμη.
Πάμε.
Το είπα.
2-0.
Δεν θες... Greek Mirror ειδικά, Θέμη, δεν θες να το παίξεις. Δεν έχεις ελπίδα. Έχει κάνει μεταπτυχιακό σε αυτό το match από Θέμης.
But honestly, the army just wasn't even that big in that one location for the lightning storm. And usually, if you kill all the units of the opponent with lightning storm, you can maybe get on the tail end a couple economy. But like the gold mine wasn't in range, and I would have expected, all 10 of them to die. But it looked like the castle was kind of directly in between the two bases of Mista. And
αν πάρει και το τρίτο, θα έχει πάρει παιδιά όλη τη σειρά αίτητος. Πάνε όλα καλά. Άντε. Πάμε.
A lot of players wouldn't have done that. They would have just done one to secure a goal because it feels really heavy to do that. But we saw that it bought him the necessary time. It broke up the fight in the correct way. Those Nemean lines got maximum stun potential to keep him underneath the keeps. And then on top of that, you have this beautiful play that I think he was leaning towards, which was when the thunderstorm came in. I think he wanted to hop inside to protect his units. It didn't come into fruition, so RecoN actually got the best case scenario. But that earthquake, although it looked like there was a lot of farms still alive and things are good, the disruption on the backside stopped RecoN from getting that next wave that could have given him the killing blow.
I feel like, to me, what really stood out in this game was that it seemed just like Mista was getting away with way more with way less. Like, he barely had any units at the start of the game.
It was like 32 to 3 military at one point.
Yeah, and it was just unable to push into those sentinels, unable to push into the very good reactions of Mista there. And RecoN had all those units and went for this big push, and it did look very scary for Mista for a moment there. But once again, the defenses were still standing, and what are you going to do? Like, chop away with the Minotaurs? It doesn't quite work.
Now, I'm just tearing in that we want to hear from all you fans at home because
Πάρα
Riley, he's a
πολύ
bit
ξύλο,
of a
Αλέξη.
historian,
Πάρα
a bit
πολύ
of a
ξύλο.
brainiac.
Αυτό το
He has
παιχνίδι ήταν
different ideas
πραγματικά
of what's
on
cool to
the
check
edge,
out.
εντάξει.
So let us know actually at home what you'd like to see in this castle because there's still just so much that's unexplored. Are we going to be going to archery slits? Do we want to see the castle views? Merlins, Hill Defense, Players Lounge. I heard there's maybe a dungeon, but I guess maybe we can't see that yet. Ooh. Castle views, is that going to be more drone shots? I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but those are my favorites so far.
How many people right now going, what's Merlins?
Να ζητήσουμε συγγνώμη μια φορά για τα τεχνικά προβλήματα. Δεν ήταν από εμάς. Τελικά είναι από την υπηρεσία που κάνουμε το multi-stream. Δυστυχώς μας κρέμασε.
They kind of want to see Doubt, right? Player Lounge coming in. It's probably chilling there. What an incredible set. I mean, I'm really hoping we at least get one game on the board for RecoN. I'd love to see that, right? You know what I'd love to see here from Mr? Freer. I would honestly love to see Freer coming out in this third game. He's rated it so highly. I think it's time to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, he's rated it highly, but he still has such good stuff on the menu, right? He still has both Loki and Isis, which are, in my opinion right now, the two S tiers, right? And we'll see if RecoN's able to hold against those.
I think what's impressive is how well he utilized Hades. I do have to go back to that whole point of the bigger army. Like, we credit the defense from Mista, but we have talked before about this idea that RecoN he puts Mr. on a pedestal. He is his hero. Do you think maybe there was an element of that, like maybe slight hesitation because he gives more credit to Mr. than he normally would another player?
Yeah, maybe. It seemed like he was really respecting the defense there, and I wonder if he needed to just use Resto and go, because what would the counter Resto be? Like, it would be on villagers and, like, one hero, right? There was nothing to defend there. It seemed like it could have been an opportunity to attack, but I don't know, it's hard. Sentinels deal a lot of damage, and the defensive layout there for Mista was really good. The gold was way in the back, so all you were doing was running through the defenses to get the villagers, and that never feels very good.
No, it kind of felt like he was in this situation of, oh, I'll poke, oh no, that's a bad idea. And what happens over time is you just realize you've lost the whole health bar, right?
Exactly.
And now you're going to have to resto anyway. I love the way he transitioned into that temple heal, but you saw how tricky it is to actually leverage that as the game goes on. I think that temple heal is useful at the beginning of H3, and then it kind of immediately falls off unless you are hard turtling in your base, which you can't afford to do in that matchup.
Yeah, well, especially when he's down so many vills, he kind of needed to either put on pressure or add a TC of his own. I was kind of expecting that follow-up TC at some point there, especially because he had map control, right? That was one of the main benefits of his setup, right? Was he had this map control. He can go for those offensive plays, maybe even take a forward TC and try and wall off the map, but it didn't quite pan out. He tried to get the faster age up, which did work to his benefit, but...
Okay, so it's in. We've confirmed it. We know where we're going. And the hilarity is Riley has to get his running sneakers on and head there really fast, because we're about to check out what's been happening over in the player lounge.
I want to take you behind the scenes here at Castillo Amodovar and show you an area I think you'll be very interested to see. It's where all the players hang out. I'm talking about, of course, the talent area. This is where the players come to relax and chill out when they're not playing on the main stage. Although, say chill, not all of these guys are taking it easy here. Some of them are sharpening their skills, honing their strategies, and as you can see, they are really locked in. And I tell you what, we've made sure the players feel right at home here in this area with the provision of their very own custom banners. Each one is unique for each player, and they're all extremely cool, but some are very creative indeed. And if you enjoyed this little peek behind the curtain at RedBull Wololo, we've got plenty of other behind-the-scenes places to take you. Where exactly, you may ask? You'll just have to wait and find out.
But whatever. I'm not like too...
We're back. We're back.
We're back.
We're not too what? We're not too hype? We need to get
We're
more
not too hyper just yet. It's happening.
2 games down, but potentially still free to go. You know, RecoN, this is the point where he needs to get creative. This is the point where he needs to get different. This is the point where the innovation that we were alluding to with things like the raw pick need to start showing themselves.
Yeah, we'll see if he tries to pull that out onto the Alfheim. I was thinking that might be
You think Alfheim?
Yeah, it's so defensive.
Do
it's
you
just
think
so
that
good
beats,
for Raw.
Do you think that beats Freya, though? Because I think that's going to be Freya.
I don't think it beats Freyr, no.
I
think
agree
you can also
sports.
push through. Like, I think like it's also tricky on Alfheim because like I've seen Mista build these obelisks in the back on Alfheim, and if you don't catch them, like if you're not very attentive to those, he can do the Ancestors Eclipse. So if he goes Isis into Raw, that's a very good matchup for Isis.
Yeah, wait, we got clubs. AoE1 fan?
Oh, wow.
Yapa, man. Yapa, man.
See the player still prepping, getting ready.
You know, if you really want, you could probably furnish that trophy into a club.
Yeah.
That's the true challenge.
That's one way to do it.
You just have all the champions bring their trophies for a duel on top of the tower.
I kind of want to see someone like use that as the base of like a great sword and just put a massive metal sword coming out of the top, and you can just hold it. It's huge. Insane.
Maybe
Άνε μυστεράκια βάλω στο θέμη δίπλα.
Πήρωσαν
Πήρωσαν τα δάχτυλα, λέμε.
Do a mega trophy.
It'd be hard to win all of them to be able to do that, but
I mean, if you've done it,
someone will do it eventually, maybe. Yeah. RedBull Wololo 70.
Doubt just coming out with his Zimmer frame.
He's got a robotic arm just playing. Oh man.
So let's get the draft back up, because I think this is very important. This is a critical phase now. We talked about the potency of some picks.
Isis και Loki για τον Θέμη, Σετ και Ρα για τον
Imagine if he gets the
RecoN.
Frio with Loki and Isis not picked, the most 2 potent picks in competitive play
Και
right now.
παίζουν Ghost
That would
Lake.
be very crazy, but yeah, like you're saying, he likes Freyr, and maybe he'll think it's the right matchup in the right moment.
Όχι ρε, Ghost λέει...
όχι, το δεύτερο παίξαν τώρα, συγγνώμη, λάθος. Το είδα στη μέση γι' αυτό. Άρα τι μένει, Mediterranean, Μεγαλόπολη και... Μοιράζει.
So, you know, we've been
Και
talking
Alfheim.
a lot about ISIS, right? And we did talk a bit earlier about it. Okay, so we got Alfheim. He's doing it. We've got confirmation in. It's going to be Freya, and we're going to get to see the new and improved Ra. The crazy part, though, is in this particular matchup, this can become more of a boom than a Zoom type game. But I need you all to get loud and proud because it's 2-0 on the stage. But I know you all want more Age of Mythology. Game 3 is ready to kick off. We have got Freya versus Ra, RecoN and Magic for the third time today.
Let's see it. Come on. You can see their hands. They're like, they're clicking.
I just love the fans every time.
Yeah, the two fans, one on each hand. He's got to stay cool. Got to stay comfortable. Comfort is the number one thing to being a great player.
Here we go.
Here we
Θα είναι ενδιαφέρον
go.
matchup.
Alpine
Για να
time.
δούμε.
And immediately the Egyptians going on the forward for the scout. And so RecoN, this is the moment that we've been
Και
waiting for.
ο
We
RecoN
need
θα
to
τον
see
παίξει
something different. We
full
need to see
επιθετικά.
something new.
Εγώ
And
defender.
Ra could be it. But meanwhile, Mista, he takes on the hardest challenges. He's that type of guy. Freya, the most complicated and weird to get right. God, in the game right now. Can he do it here?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And I was talking to Mista about this. There's several different ways to play Freyr. It seems some players think that it's always 2TC, right? Some players are like, oh, the way to play this god is you play 2TC. But, you know, he was talking to me, he said, there's some ways to play it, right? There's more options than just 2TC, right? And we'll see if he plays this hyper aggro style that he's talking about.
Ooh, that could be big. Harmonious Necklace, like you've got an Egyptian player in the game, right? Gold, for those that don't know, gold is, I think it's actually the most important resource by far in the game for Egyptians.
Και αυτό το πολύτιμο.
Pans out.
Ναι, ναι, το ξέρω.
Raw is really kind of
ειδικά για τους σλίγγες. Άμα το πάρει αυτό και παίξει σλίγγες στο RecoN, καλό.
There's that second settlement. It's just tucked away into these cliffs. It's so safe. Now, this is a pretty open Alfheim map, all things considered. Oftentimes, y'all are going to have these cliffs in the middle of the map, really kind of bogging things down and making the map really wallable. But in this case, we got a very open generation, except for that TC on the right, which we're going to see if RecoN goes for this 2TC build.
It's tricky because Freya can very happily go for that or just go for H3, and that's really where this Civ starts to come online. It's also very difficult to aggress Freya at the end of the game because of that really cool god power they have.
Yeah, the Gloom Bursty. It's this big boar. It's both a hero and a myth unit. It does everything, basically. It just kind of, it plops down. It has essentially a shockwave effect. And, well, it's kind of attached by a big bungee cord to the TC it got dropped on. It's still a very potent defensive use. And I've seen actually Mista use this.
Οι Αιγύπτιοι πάντα μου φαινόταν ο πιο περίεργος πολιτισμός.
Against me when I wasn't looking because he had like a solid position with his infantry. He built a bunch of he built a TC there, then forward cast School and Bursty on me, and that felt really bad. I'll tell you that.
I mean, boars are also so entertaining to watch. You know, like boars to me, if I had to give them like a person at the party, they're the person with a tequila bottle in each hand on top of the table, just kind of like dancing around, going, "Let's have a good time." Very impactful as well if you can get them in the right position. And that initial summon can be so tricky. So I think instead we're going to see RecoN play it a bit more safe, a bit more defensive, and that's why he went for this forward scouting position. He wanted to know what Mista's intent was in this game first.
Yeah, interestingly, he's going for Bast, which definitely isn't bad. We've seen a style for Raw come out where with Bast you go and you get this ecotech, which just makes your hunt one of the fastest food sources in the game if you are also empowering with the Pharaoh. And if you do that, it can work pretty well. But we'll see how this pans out. You can see that Pharaoh empowering the monument now new to Retold. This Pharaoh empowers the monument and all the buildings around it.
Now remember, with empowering, the way it works is that it's going to increase what you get in terms of gathering.
Αν καταφέρει να πάρει και αυτό για το χρυσό θα είναι πολύ ωραίο.
Γι' αυτό πάει τώρα. Παίρνει και το Wolf. Άμα πετύχει το Priest να είναι πιο γρήγορο το Wolf.
Yeah, and on the left side of your screen here, you're going to see Mista queue up a lot of techs. That's because Freyr's main benefit is that these all techs are much cheaper, but they take a lot longer to research, so you'll have time to spot them as they come in.
He gets the gold gathering faster. A nice tool to have in your arsenal. I'm not too surprised that you're not really going to get much contest. I feel like in this situation, it's a bit harder for RecoN to just rush out for the relics compared to the Norse.
Yeah, where did he place that as Guardian Fortress? It's probably defending his gold, I would assume.
It looks like it's on the forward, actually. If we check the base of the loot,
καλά είπα, πάει.
set it up.
Τώρα καλά. Περίμενα να παίξεις λίγες, αλλά δεν έχεις λίγες.
South of here, right?
Yeah, I think it's south.
Yeah, there it is. Coming in now.
Coming in.
It's really slow to arrive, because otherwise that would be broken, but check this. Sphinx is around the back. Quick fingers out of Mista to dodge that tornado damage.
Yeah, it's really interesting here. With that third upgrade, the Sphinxes get so
Easy,
fast.
κλείνει, κάνει
Θα κλείσει μέσα, TheMist, περίμενε να δεις. Θα κλείσει μέσα, θα κάτσε να
hard for
κάνει
the
το
Hersiers here to keep track of them. It's going to be a big
πάνεις
test
φύγες
of
στη ζή.
Mista's defense here.
Ναι, αφού
Τον
πήγαν τα
έκλεισε,
μία.
από κάτω το έκλεισε, τον έκλεισε.
They could get walled in here.
RecoN, yeah, if he gets walled in, this is the problem. He needs to ring roses, but check what's happening. The walls are coming up, and this doesn't need to last long. It just needs to last long enough.
He tried to path out.
The panic! The other wall coming in from the
Quick
Hersier!
walls.
He's starting
Quick wall.
This is huge! He needs to get out of here fast! This is not the fight he was looking for. The Hersiers get the main effect. Sphinx has been able to run away there, and this is a big deal because what RecoN is looking for
Έρχεται
is
και από
that
πάνω ο
eclipse
άλλος.
play. He wants that moment
Έπεσε
where
η
he
μία.
can surge in and kill 5, 6, 7 workers in one blink.
Κλείσει και εδώ,
Yeah, those
περίμενε.
upgrades have come in for the Sphinx. It's a huge investment.
Are you kidding me?
Another wall off here.
This is huge. The
Θα
outside
ξανακάνει
force
κι
is
άλλο.
almost done. Sphinx, nice tornado to get out there fast. He needs to keep these
Another
guys alive.
quick wall. What is going on here, Mista? He's just putting on a
Oh,
clinic here,
oh.
trying
Ay,
to keep
Gatula
this
is
Cryo
finger.
Sphinx in his base.
Ρε
We have to
εσύ,
remember
τι
that
outplay
when
δεν
you,
έκανε
to
αυτό.
explain to people, when you hit with melee
Είχε
units, you do
είχε
get
πολύ
some
καλό
pain,
map ο
so
TheMist.
slow down. But the funny thing is, you mentioned the Sphinxes, they have enough movement speed that even
Ο
with that
RecoN έχει
line,
κακό
it's
map,
usually
ο
tricky
TheMist
to
έχει
go
καλό
to
map.
RecoN. He's able to dodge death there, and it's so important at this stage in the
Το
game.
RecoN είναι πολύ
It's
ανοιχτό.
difficult to generate enough favor.
Ενώ το θέμα είναι πολύ
throwing
κλειστό.
away 2 Sphinxes for nothing.
Είναι πάνω σε
doesn't
εργάτες
change the
βέβαια
game.
ο RecoN.
Yeah, and he has to keep
Είναι
up
δύο
forward
της
pressure.
συλλογικό,
You
αλλά
know,
δεν
that
έχει
forward
σημασία,
gold of
παίζει
his.
Freyr.
He did grab that second TC behind the pressure
Που
here.
σημαίνει ότι στο
Looks like
οικονόμιο είναι
another TC
μπροστά.
going to be coming in for Mista himself, just building it rather slowly here. The fortress on the front looks like it's going to be done soon.
Drago just getting in position to be a little bit annoying here. Not really what you want to be tornadoing into.
And now we have the Hyro Sphinx upgrade in. That is that final one, and Sacred Cats as well. We talked about this really good economy upgrade for Bast. It's just so cheap and so effective.
Will allow him to prep the next transition, right? Because he's not just going to end on Sphinxes here. He has something else in mind. What do you think we're looking into next?
Well, I mean, you're going to have to do a harder farm transition because you haven't gone with Ptah, which has a really natural synergy with Rain, because Ptah can make your farms much cheaper. So you're going to have to kind of naturally farm transition, right? So you're paying full price for these farms, but once they're up, we will see that Rain God power come in. And
I wonder if we do just see them now.
Να ευχαριστούμε και τα παιδιά που μπαίνουν στο Discord, τον Ξυλοκόπο και την επιστροφή του Γαϊδαράκου.
Θα συμβεί ό,τι έγινε και με τον Game. Θα παίξει 2 TC, λίγο στρατό TheMist και θα βγει Imperial. Και τον κάνει σε round
on the back of a heroic that he starts using these, I'm not quite sure. We talked about this a bit during the draft, and players often go for these mass barracks units nowadays with Raw. It seems to be it's new to me basically. I've only played it myself like twice. So I haven't had enough time to really get a good feel for it, but I mean you can just see how fast these are.
Ποιος ξέρει, ίδιο TheMist θα κάνει.
So yeah, this Slinger build, right? Now that they've had some changes, they have divine damage added to them. Wait,
Yeah, with Ptah.
With Ptah, so
but here he's just going for the barracks units because it's just so solid all round.
So like, are you thinking he's going to maybe go axes here? Just axemen, play a bit standard of the front line?
Yeah, he hasn't seen any cav yet, but we do see slings coming in regardless. This is really good against the throwing axemen. They do counter them, but doesn't have that Ptah's Electrum Bullets tech at the moment. So you just need a few slingers here. You don't want to overinvest.
Πάντως η τακτική του Θέφνη βλέπω είναι ότι θέλει να πάρει και το χώρο. Βλέπω το RecoN έχει χτιστεί πολύ σφιχτά σε 2 σημεία πίσω.
Ρε, τώρα, λοιπόν, ο RecoN, αν ήμουν ο RecoN αυτή τη στιγμή, το μόνο που μπορώ να σκεφτώ είναι full slickers, fast mythic και use tornado και να παίξω lean, να μην τον αφήσω να πάει fast mythic.
Funny thing is, like, you want to use this sooner rather than later, right? Because it impacts your opponent's farms as well, admittedly at worse rate.
Λόγω του Rain, ο Ra έχει καλύτερο echo, μπορεί να κάνει ό,τι κάνει ο TheMist, απλά λίγο πιο νωρίς.
but the TC situation is actually looking very healthy. Like, RecoN has gotten the macro he wanted behind this Sphinx aggression. And this TC on the side has been really safe. I mean, if there's a game for Raw to do well, it's here. But keep in mind, this is...
Αν παίξει full slingers, το αμυδιώνης θα κρατάει. Δεν χρειάζεται να χρησιμοποιήσει το fight. Μέχρι να καθαρίσει τους ήρωες. Με να τους φέρνει πίσω με ένα Eclipse. Θα είναι πολύ κομπλέ. Ωραία μαλάκα, πώς δεν το πήρε αυτό ο RecoN. Μπράβο ρε Θεέ μου.
It's important against the Sphinxes as well, right? Like, although we've bypassed...
Δηλαδή σκέψου, παίζει slingers και δεν πήρε το, ξέρω εγώ, το relic που τα κάνει πιο δυνατά.
Εντάξει, δεν ξέρω ότι ήταν εκεί αυτό.
Αφού έκανε ένας crowd, ρε.
Walk me through what we're expecting to see out of RecoN here.
Well, with RecoN, he's just going to try and keep macroing and get up a big army. I mean, eventually going to have to look into placing the Migdol, but again, the way that players have been playing Raw recently is to kind of just keep investing in these units until the Migdol transition is a bit safer. We'll see if he's able to place one right away. Some cherry archers will really do good here, but we'll see it a big surround.
Not really
they take damage from that.
So bet coming through. And we have got...
Here's the rock.
This is kind of interesting now that I think about on this map because of how defensive it is and how many cliffs there are. Like, if you just have a full wall across the map, you're going to see the rock transporting in. You won't see him coming with this.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll get used for that. Oftentimes it's used as a glorified Pegasus.
Τρίτο παιχνίδι, πρώτη ευκαιρία για το Themi να τελειώσει τη σειρά. 3 νίκες τέλει, έχει κάνει ήδη 2. 5 παιχνίδια max.
Like, flying units have to be very carefully tempered in Myth. It's why we talk so much about Caladria, for example. So looks like he's going to scout with it. Pressure is coming in on the center just to deal with a few of the production building.
Themi θα τον κάνει surround.
He at least knows what the economy is. Genuinely, I'd love to see him just transport the Sphinx on the back there, get over the wall, and then force a split reaction out of Mista.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing an investment into the Petsuchos here.
Laser gators.
We'll see how it goes. The first elephant is out.
Ωραίο, ωραίο.
The Migdol's up, but the gold on the north going to be pressured behind the army, so it's going to be an interesting position with two forces of Mista kind of split up.
Yeah, θα μη σε λιμηθική ρε. Εσύ το δίνω στο στρατοβόγιο του εσύ.
Κόλλησε λίγο, αλλά ξεκόλλησε.
There it is.
Αλλά βλέπεις ότι δεν τον παίζει στα ίσα Θέμης, τον αναγκάζει να πηγαίνει προς και πίσω, δεν θέλει να παίξει σύνομα μαζί του.
Yeah, and he still has that hailstorm to use here. It could be just massive in the right moment here.
Θα ξεχάσει αυτό.
His army pretty grouped could be.
Θα ξεχάσει αυτό. Έλα, GG, θα ξεχάσει αυτό το God Power. Θα κάνει και όλα frost τώρα.
Migdol is definitely a big problem here. Not easy to brute force in. Especially if these laser gators just keep sitting between the east and the west side. They have such great range, and with a double Migdol, they're not easy to reach. Comes in now.
There's the hailstorm. Right in the center of the army. The big rock giant taunt.
The stun.
Πάμε, διπλό στρατό, πάμε. Πάμε.
Αλλά ο Θέμης παίζει κάτω από 2 Migdols,
Ναι, αυτό είναι το πρόβλημα. Και δεν έπεσε το ένα.
Αν και έχει μεγάλο support πίσω του. Εδώ τα Giants είναι τρομερά. Είναι πανέμορφα. Θα το δίνω.
Άντεξε.
Κοίτα διαφορά στο μακρό. Θα κερδίσει λόγω οίκο Θέμης.
Κοίτα, είναι πρώτη φορά στο παιχνίδι που περνά μπροστά σε δίνει. Και αν μέχρι τώρα που ήταν πίσω είχε τόσο καλό έκο, τώρα...
Αν φέρνει τους ελέφαντες έτσι, άστο. Οι πανάκριβοι ελέφαντες, πάντως προσέχει.
It's not going to be as easy for Mista to crack this strong point as it would have been just a moment ago.
Yeah, Mista very smartly here, waiting out the eclipse there so the Pet Sobex don't just kill everything. But we'll see how it goes. The army coming forward for RecoN. He's pushing in once again. Will it be enough?
Αυτοί οι κροκόδιλοι έχουν bonus damage στα mid-units. Που αυτό πρέπει να κάνει για να τους ζάρει, για να κερδίσει. Έχεις πάει τρίτο της εδώ.
We also have to keep in mind he's still got the defensive god power, right? He can still spawn the ball to split this formation in an uncomfortable way.
Yeah, RecoN with his tournament life on the line, looking to push in here. Equal eco, essentially, right? Slightly more military here.
Θα χάσει τους κροκόδιλους όμως.
He's doing it.
On the side, we are getting another taunt coming out. The fight is becoming a little bit split. Now, this is where RecoN needs to calm down a bit, right? Send a few troops
Λέει η
forward, don't split
κροκόδιλα
your
όμως
army to
πολύ
two.
δυνατή.
Try to keep most in one
ζημιά τα
location. Keep
λαθρός.
leveraging the fact that numbers are on your side.
Πού το έκανε ζημιά, δεν το είδα.
Overextension might get you killed. Crocodiles out of position here. Villagers also gathering on the front side. And this time, you're dealing with god units that are ranged. They can snipe down these crocodiles one by one.
Ούτε καν, τι finally, τι λέει όλος. Το Θέμης θα πατήσει εποχή τώρα.
What line wasn't there for Mr. RecoN, pushing him back.
I feel like these guys are lost in the line. Like Bagrissi over here, great. You stay alive a long time, but you've got no support. You're not a damage dealer. You're a tank in this situation. Could this be it? Finally, it took 3 games, but RecoN, he looks on the verge of getting on the board here.
His first score
Το
lead
Θέμης
of the
επάτησε έτσι όχι.
series. Could this be a game win for him?
Needs to get rid of this.
Ο Θέμης μαζεύει γκολ πίσω από τη σύνη του άλλου ρε μάλακα. Ρε Θέμη, mastermind.
Gives you pop cap as well, and we're at a stage in the game where that is going to be the difference. 170 to 190 max right now.
Mist is on the back foot here.
He's taking
Πάντως
all the
αυτή τη
settlements.
στιγμή
I love
δείχνει ο
this play
RecoN
from
ότι έχει το
RecoN.
πάνω
He's
χέρι.
finally coming out of the shell.
Ναι,
He
ναι.
usually calls himself a
Κοίταξε,
raccoon, but
αν ο
sometimes
RecoN
he
δει
gives
τα
you more of a
builds
go.
στα gold mines,
Oh man, and here's
δεν ξέρω πώς μπορεί να κερδίσει ο Θέμης. Αν δεν πιστεύω ότι κερδίσει ο Θέμης. Επειδή δεν φαίνεται ότι θα ανεβεί σύντομα ο Θέμης. Άγγι προσπαθεί. Άγγι προσπαθεί ο Θέμης. Αλλά κοίτα που μαζεύει γκολ. Δεν το δείχνει ο άλλος ρε. Κοίτα κάτω αριστερά στο χάρτη στο μήνυμα.
Ναι, ναι, κάτω, ανάμεσα. Εκεί που ήταν το
Έχουν
ρέλι.
μια σε 15 builds ο Θέμης.
Man, I've been so impressed by Raw.
Oh,
This game, this barracks play has really come in clutch here
Το
for
board της
RecoN.
του νέου
He's made it look
θεού,
so
σωστά, του
good.
νέου
And
God.
the
Ναι, ναι,
checkpoint
είναι
one of the big
παντοδύναμο το
There was
board.
that critical fight with the double migdal, right? These laser gators, if they die, I think it's GG. But what he done
Και
so
κάνει και AoM
well,
damage
such a
φορά.
lofty and hard to wield unit. He broke the choke points to last, and here we go.
Τώρα ουσιαστικά το πρόβλημα είναι ότι έχει σηκώσει τα φρούρια και δεν μπορεί να περάσει. Θέλει η Siege εδώ πέρα, δεν θέλει.
Crocodile is going to get knocked
The
away.
slingers,
Hey, I think he just helped him escape.
the slingers going down though on the back there. The rating
Ο
cap
Θέμης θέλει να πάρει το κέντρο και κερδίζει. Ο RecoN θέλει να μου διώξει από τα gold
He's
mines.
got the migdals again, though. We've seen this before, right? This is where the overextension can begin to settle in. 87 militaries to 118. He's rebolted the army, but now he needs to surge forward. Find these valuable targets, like a solo elephant, like an alligator. Take them out. The boar is absorbing so many of these blows, and this could be a flood through beyond the migdals
Θα
towards
πέσει
the
ο Τάβρος
economy.
τώρα.
Yeah, there's just so
Λέει ο
many
Τάβρος
migdals
πέσει, θα
dotting
πεθάνει
the
έτσι κι αλλιώς
center of
μόνος
the
του.
map
Έχει
here.
timing, δεν είναι
Mr.
ζωντανό.
might have to retreat. The
Είναι
reinforcements
για
do
60
come in
δευτερόλεπτα.
for RecoN.
Ωραίος ο
Force
Θέμης.
about the timeout.
And after that, like,
Πεθάνει όμως ότι χάνει εδώ μπροστά ο Θέμης. Δεν θέλει να χάνει μόνο. Δεν τον παίρνει και εδώ. Ναι, ναι, χάνει. Εντάξει, θα χάσει το μίγδαλο, αλλά ο άλλος χάνει λίγες.
He's nowhere near ready going at age 4. If he had that, Inferno could be the tool to just win this game, but he's being pressured hard. He has to lock in the age, and you're starting to see the difference that this population gap can make.
Man, if Mista comes back
Go,
from
go,
this,
Timmy,
I'll need
Timmy.
a shoe. This is
Go,
still
Timmy.
going to be crazy, though,
I'll
because
hold you to that.
he's starting to even out the military
Χαμός.
count when his
Λέει τα
economy
Ροντζένς,
is
είναι
down.
τρομάς.
He's
Και οι άλλοι
picking up
κάτω
the
συνεχίζουν και
PC in the
μαζεύουν.
south.
Χάνει τα priest, χάνει τα priest. Έλα, πάμε λίγο.
Huge group of units here trying
GG.
to come defend and reinforce this, but it's too little, too late. The rating cap is
Κροκόδιλο,
gonna run
α, έχει
away.
κροκόδιλους, λαϊκές λέω.
Four
Αλλά δεν είναι
rock giants in the
αρκετή για να
center of
σκώσει
the
τα
field
units
here.
στο Θέμη.
The fifth one coming to reinforce. Are there enough priests here?
If he can get forward here, if he can bait onto the chariots, they won't be able to kite away. This should be big. Taunts are going to be used. Not able to do enough damage now, but these rock giants are pretty damn good at tackling into the migdals. Stun's going to come out. He does catch the
Ροντζένς, είναι
crocodile, but the
απίστευτο
elephant
νεύρα.
is going to save their life here. Able to stand their
Κοίτα
ground.
πόσο τα κάνουν.
Gold vein and tree line
Οι
is
κροκόδιλοι υποτίθεται ότι έχουν bonus damage
quickly
σε αυτά τα
backlined,
units.
being munched on.
Yeah, but I think
Giants,
Mista
eh?
might like it a
Ναι, ναι,
little more.
Θα
υποτίθεται.
χάσει τώρα. Το ένα
The
θα
cherry
χάσει
archers,
σίγουρα.
they're not focusing down these throwing
Ρε,
actions.
παίρνουν το value.
For RecoN is melting. There are no
Ναι,
priests
ναι.
to kill the
Περνάνε
rock
πολύ πάλι.
The fortress on the right going to go down. Another taunt comes through.
Έμεινε ρε το κολομίδι.
GG. Έλα, τώρα θα βγάλει κι άλλο πριν.
Still a slight eco lead, but his position, it needs so many villages to keep it alive that he isn't as strong as the eco bar would show. Another taunt comes out, more alligators going down. The chariot archers are starting to be thinned out here. And behind this, there's a new wave of cavalry to come through for Mista.
Yeah, and the rock giants are super.
Κρίμα που δεν το έχουν κι άλλοι νόσεις, φίλε. Κρίμα που δεν το έχει αυτό το θόριο Όντιν. Δεν το είχα πιουζέρει, φίλε.
Λογικά θα πέσει και αυτό τώρα. Για να δούμε εδώ πάνω τι σου κάνει και εκεί πάνω ένα μίγκολ.
Ρε, ο Θέμης παίρνει κάτω.
Αλλά έχει πάρει το κέντρο.
Δεν πάρει χαμπάρι, ναι, ναι. Αν τον είχε δει, αυτό ήταν άλλο παιχνίδι.
And it looks like we might be getting trades set up on the north side as well from Korea, because there are some buildings in that north corner, so there's potential for that down the line. But in the meantime, Amigo is going to be orphaned, and this opens the floodgates to the south side of the map, where you've still got RecoN trying to gather here. Could this be it? Could this, despite his best game so far, still not simply be enough? The rock giant count is so untenable.
The raiding cavalry, raiding party is in for Mista. He's reclaimed the score lead confidently, pushing back another Migdal. The chariot archers, are they going to be enough?
Last stand. This is it. You lose.
Ρε, πριν χαϊδεύουν τα Giants. Κοίτα, κοίτα. Το πράγμα δεν πέφτει.
Ωραία, φίλε. Νομίζω πλησιάζει η ώρα. Ωραία, φίλε.
Another taunt!
There's another one behind this at the back. He still hasn't used it. He can lock him in position and he's just chowdering down!
Κοίτα και το οίκο του Μίστα, έλα, GG. Το κέρδισε, Θεέ. Πάμε λίγο. Best of 5 δεν είναι?
Ναι, ναι.
Εντάξει, έλα, τελευταία game.
He's got it. He's got this for sure. Back against the wall. Gonna back up just for a moment, but RecoN, all he's got left is a couple barracks. The elephants have to holding his ground in these fights, and all the Migdals are down, except for this one, which is way off in the north.
Okay, it wasn't even trade, it was just houses up there, not blocking anything that matters. Another Migdal being targeted though. He's stripping the gold. It's the lifeline of Egypt. If they don't have this, they don't have chariot archers. They don't have a raid. They don't have a hope in hell. Another raid comes in on the gold. The reaction is slow from RecoN. Although he may have an eco lead, it doesn't feel like he has an income lead in this one.
Is that Mythic Age coming in behind this?
Are you kidding me? All right. I want to see a comeback because we're ready to see a comeback. But all I'm going to say, bare minimum, RecoN, don't tap out before those gold powers come through.
RecoN might go down in a blazing glory.
Raids are going to stop. Apparently, he's like,
Game 3, παιδιά, πάμε. Το πήρε και το πήρε.
He thought there was going to be a pull away. He realizes how glorious an advantage it is. We're going to get more of the storms coming through just to actually give that bolster to his food income to try and keep RecoN alive. But he needs these probe attacks. This is actually the first time we've seen him get a real hit towards the economy. But it's being returned in favor. Any reactionary units are being taunted out. There's a second wave on the way. RecoN has spread himself so thin like a tiny knob of butter across a whole loaf of bread.
RecoN's got his back against the wall. He's going to try and micro these chariots, but I think as soon as he sees Vidar come in, what is he going to do?
The good news is because he's split like this, he hasn't got his army in one location, and that's where the Inferno would just end the game. So in some ways, weirdly enough, there is a sliver of hope for RecoN, even when this age up completes.
Yeah, but the TC is going to get taken down in the north pretty soon here, and that could open up for the first time Mystic getting a TC advantage in this game.
These Rock Giants have been carrying this game at this stage. The work they put in, the priest reactions are finally starting to come through, but you got to ask, was it too slow? Was it too late? It's so difficult as well, because at this stage they're not condensed to one location. They're starting to join in on the raids. Those raids are reaching deep, even towards the starting town center of this stage. Finally able to deal with them on the north side. A reboot for the settlement. More Migdals going up. He's not done yet. RecoN says just one more fight. One after the other to try and get back into the game.
Inferno!
The Inferno? Where we going?
On the TC!
Boom, baby! No TC for you!
Το θέμα είναι, δεν είναι μόνο το κωδικό, είναι τρελή, το λέω, η δράκη. Ρε, είναι τρομακτικό, Γιόνι.
We see Mythic on the back
εντάξει, το ρίξε το pop.
Has he got the time? Osiris.
Ο Θέμης κερδίζει αυτή τη στιγμή.
Give him that reset.
Son of Osiris is super potent in these big fights.
Especially in the choke points, because if you can't reach him, he just stands there zapping you down. And if we're being totally real, Mista's approach has been a mixture of very tanky units and then just zerging.
It will cost him economy though if he has to bring that guy to the front.
Είναι και στο οίκο μπροστά, παίρνει και τα τελευταία οίκο out.
These rock giants, which so far just a couple priests at a time haven't been able to take down this rock giant mass, which has kept Mista in this game. He's clawed back now with a 10k score lead. Every eco upgrade under the sun coming in, every military upgrade going to be in soon. He is soon going to be inevitable.
Southside raid again. Like, there's so much focus for RecoN this north to try and hold on to that. He's giving everything over. So Son of Osiris is in. He takes the hit to the economy and he's going to take a gut blow on the south side as well. About 10 villagers going down there. It's a 20 eco lead now for Mista. RecoN needs to take advantage of this to just build more military, but it's hard to do when you've got 45 less maximum population.
Gonna try and take a huge fight up here, trying to clean up the forces of Mista. Mista split up, tried to take, he got a little greedy, he's taking the north and the south, but will it be enough? Osiris on the back here, gonna be blasting those lightning bolts into the main forces here, taking out the mid units of Mista in the north, but is it gonna be enough? Fafnir keeps dealing so much damage. The throwing action from behind, Son of Osiris.
Θα χάσει το Φαραώ.
Remember, this guy can't be healed. On top of that, the priest weren't zapping down those mid units quick enough. Fafnir is so tanky as well.
Ο RecoN ήθελε τις μούμιες και νωρίς.
Crush any hope here for RecoN. Son of Osiris is down, and you may need to wait a millennia to see a second.
Τέλειωσε, πάμε.
Πάμε, μπράβο ρε, μπράβο, παιχτούρα, τρέλας, παιχτούρα, μπράβο. Μπράβο Θέμη. Κοίτα, άγχος ρε.
Μπράβο Θέμη. Ναι, ξέρεις γιατί άγχος, γιατί είναι ο κάτι που να το δείξει ρε φίλε.
Έχαν όλοι υψηλές απαιτήσεις από το Θέμη. Δεν έχουν στρεσάρει.
Ναι,
αλλά έκανε το αδιανόητο. Κέρδισε ένα τουρνό χωρίς να χάσει ούτε ένα game.
Παιδιά, δεν έχει χάσει ένα game με τα προκριματικά.
But look at the emotion. Look at the feelings. These two,
He's
like
telling
brothers.
him about the game. He just told him about the game.
He does this all the time, even in these moments. Mate, you're meant to be lifting up that trophy. You're meant to be being proud of the moment, but we'll give him moments to digest that. What an insane deciding game.
That was an incredible game 3 there. I'm sad we don't get to see more.
Μπράβο ρε παιδιά, μπράβο ρε φίλε, μπράβο ρε φίλε. Μπράβο και να γίνει παράδειγμα και για άλλα παιδιά. Μπορούμε και στα υπόλοιπα παιχνίδια να πάμε καλά. Μπορούμε και στο 4 και στο 2. Στο 3 έχουμε και το Λάζαρο που είναι δυνατός πολύ. Πάμε.
Yeah, and I know this is something he's been dreaming about for a long time. Ever since Retold was announced, he was like, when are we going to get a big tournament? When are we going to get the land? He wants to be a champion. For him, this is about legacy.
Μπράβο Θέμη, μπράβο, γεια σου ρε Space.
Because this is the first of potentially many, and there can only ever be one first. So let's go to the stage to hear from our first Age of Mythology, RedBull Wololo.
Για να τον ακούσουμε.
Thank
you so much. Yeah, let's make some noise for TheMista. What a game.
Γιατί κολλάει ρε.
To end it all. It got a little dicey there at some parts. Walk me through this. You ended it all with a Freyr. That's a difficult to get right. What are the strengths of playing Freyr, and what are the difficulties? What makes this so hard to execute?
I think Freyr is a very difficult civilization to play because it's so.
Γιατί το έχουμε αυτό. Γιατί κολλάει.
Easily to get punished. You might think that the first gold power, the golden boar that can defend, might save you, but you can only be saved once. So you can't really scout. Your units can't really heal. So it's really hard to take skirmishes all over the map, and you just need to play very tactically on the map. Lots of walls, and just like fight when the upgrades kick in. And you know the upgrades are half the cost for Freyr, but they take longer to upgrade, so you just need a lot of patience when you're playing Freyr.
Yeah, I mean, and you showed that patience and tenacity to stay in this game as well. Now, you winning 3-0, not even touching some of the most popular picks like Loki or Isis. Was that a game plan to kind of throw him off? Because I know you're very familiar with each other.
The last 2 games were actually really close. You cannot imagine how close they were. I like to play, and in my practice with RecoN, we were playing all 5 every single draft. So I was prepared to go all the way.
Right on. And now, of course, I know this must be bittersweet for you because you guys are so very close. Any words for your opponent, or rather for your friend on this stage?
Yeah, me and RecoN set up a date when we started practicing, and we were both here.
Yeah, let's make some noise for RecoN, our runner.
Μπράβο ρε Θέμη. Μπράβο.
Now, of course, there's only one thing left to do, and that's for you to take that trophy. I'll grab the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your RedBull Wololo and Renato. 8th of Mythology Retold
παιδιά.
TheMista. And we're sending it back over to you guys, Killer Pigeon and Winston Waffles.
Thank you, Zoe. What a phenomenal occasion. As I said before, folks, I hope this is the first of many. And I don't think if it is going to be more, you'll see him on the stage again. Not just him.
Παιδιά, θα συνεχίσετε, εγώ πρέπει να φύγω.
Some of those games were insanely close.
Οκ.
Απλά θέλω να πω εδώ ότι θα πούνε, αν θα το πούνε στην Ελλάδα, στα μεγάλα μέσα κοινωνικής δικτύωσης.
Κανονικά θα πρέπει. Κανονικά θα έπρεπε.
Ωραία τα games. Μπράβο στο TheMist, συγχαρητήρια. Παιχταράς, έλαμψε, μας έκανε υπερήφανους. Σε αντίθεση με τον Rap, ελπίζω να μ' ακούει.
Έλα ρε.
Η πλάκα. Ελπίζω να το δούμε και στο επόμενο τελικό, που πιστεύω να το δούμε. Παρά αυτά, καλό βράδυ από μένα. GG's.
Καλό βράδυ από μένα. Ευχαριστώ τον Κοράκη και τον Παξί. Είμαστε το H for Greeks. Είμαστε η ελληνική κοινότητα για το Age of Empires και Mythology από το 2006 και σας περιμένουμε. Μπείτε μέσα στο Discord μας, πάρετε μέρος στα τουρνουά μας, ελάτε να γνωριστούμε, ελάτε στις συγκεντρώσεις μας, ελάτε. Σας περιμένουμε. Καλή συνέχεια σε όλους.